Hi. Welcome to Sridhar's newsletter and our show Minimalist Techie. I appreciate you being here so we can connect weekly on interesting topics. And if you please subscribe to this show, Minimalist Techie, or you can read the article on my website, sridharkargipati.substack.com. So this is an audio recording of my weekly newsletter, which is mostly about the article, books, videos, etc. What I read or watch, or my views on different topics which revolves around my head during the week. Now let us dive into this week's reads. So China limits online gaming for minors. Yeah, it's a gaming curfew for minors. China is limiting online gaming for all game players under the age of 18. That is mostly banned on all school days and allowed gaming hours are only on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays between 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Basically, 1 hour on each of these Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that is basically 3 hours in total in a week, and gaming companies will be accountable to enforce these restrictions. This is a drastic change compared to their November 2019 rules, which allowed 90 minutes of gaming on weekdays and 3 hours on each day of weekend. The reason this news catches my attention is to know what their data points were to make such a harsh decision. Did the generation have a gaming addiction? Is is the children's study life, mental health, and physical health are impacted? Yes, it did impact it. So here are the few which have been called out in their article, which is decline in grades, inability to concentrate, high temper, very aggressive behavior, lack of social interaction, anxiety, and reduced memory. One parent mentioned that their kid has a personality change, a lot of temper due to heavy gaming. All these problems affect the physical and the mental health of minors, as well as their normal day to day living and learning. Not just gaming, as when I grew up during my childhood and even now, I notice one more thing where minors spend most of their time also includes gossips about movies, stars, and worshipping the cinema and the celebrities. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, even WhatsApp chats and statuses are used every day for this purpose. Social networks are also one which should be looked very carefully as they impact child's growth and even the grown-up adults. Therefore, I always dislike the idea of getting more toys into my home as they don't help in any way the child growth. Childhood needs a lot of play, interaction with others as kids learn fast as they experience them, not sitting at home with toys, online gaming. A child's universe should be often a play, a hands on learning, exploration, and socializing. It's not, it's not just you here, even the help is needed from the community. As towns, states should focus on building more stadiums, football courts, badminton courts, state parks, local parks, and whatnot. So kids have enough activities to do around them, to explore the world around them more authentically. Let me know if it's a right policy. As a parent, I would say yes. So I'm just leaving a link to NPR, and you can read about their article about this on the same topic. And yeah, click on the New York Times link. It's a paid link for the subscribers. So I would say look into the NPR one if you don't have an New York Times account. Okay. All right. So moving on to the next topic, 3 month notice period for an Indian IT workforce. Most of Indian companies have 3 months notice period, which is complete contrast to US 2 weeks notice. But in US as well, you'll find Indian consulting companies who try to push more than 2 weeks into the job offer. Just investigate any LinkedIn post since last 6 months. You will see at least couple of discussions are happening in those posts. First, from a candidate perspective, I'm serving a notice period and I'm actively looking for a new job opportunities, and I can join within a month or in some cases within 15 days. So in this case, what's happening is they already have an offer at hand and they are not taking their network help to land multiple offers. From one company to another company, they are looking only at the pay part with the counter offers. By the time their notice period completion, they will join their choice of a company, and other companies are ghosted by giving them a last minute ghosting. Second type of conversation is especially from a startup companies are calling out on these processes from a big tech companies or a social media, and they are screaming to change the notice period to 15 days. In some case, the recruiter or the HR team is ranting on the, the culture which employees are setting up and coming with multiple counter offers, one offer against another offer. I know personally couple of people who literally had by the time we did an interview from my organization, and by the time we released an offer letter, they already had third or uh, fourth offer in their hand. So they almost double than the initial package what's been discussed. And some employees are pretty much cold, because even I noticed that they literally like pinging you and simply saying, can you match this particular pay, or can you give me a pay what we have discussed higher than what we have discussed. Yeah. So that's the reason why in the so few recruiters are losing jobs as well in this process, as they are seen as not meeting up with their company hiring standards. So every recruiter actually is supposed to fill certain positions. Because of this culture what's been currently in the market, what's happening is a given recruiter is not able to fill the position and it is getting escalated, and one or two, or I would say after a couple of such profiles, such positions, he is unable to fulfill, then it's going under his bad performance and the person is losing the job. As companies losing revenue for not finding a resource on time, and someone else is taking this heat. Either someone is losing a job like a recruiter, or some or there might be some team for which that particular requirement was, they are facing the heat, as they're already clocking more number of hours during these covid times as being in remote, and this resource shortage will bleed them even more. So, among all this, there are the professionals around the world who are struggling to get even a single job. This makes them feel like a loser and they undermine their own confidence after they fail to clear an interview, or after submitting hundreds of resumes. Even after a month or 2 months, they're unable to land on a single offer. In the midst of all this, employees at another level to fuel this up even more. As majority of companies have 3 months notice period, many organizations are posting a job ad for the positions which don't even exist in their projects, because notice period for every other organization is a 3 months period. If they really have to hire a right correct person in the person, then they really have to start early, because it's not possible uh, to onboard immediately as your client opens a position for you. So a number of jobs are being posted, but you see that hardly very few get responses back, or very few even you get a response. You get into one round of interview and you just get hold up. So as hiring immediately is not possible, they are interviewing the candidates and leaving them in a hope of releasing the or getting an offer letters. In some cases, people have received offer letter after 10 months. Yes, I'm not kidding. One person mentioned that they received their offer letter literally after a year or near to a year. As the time of joining comes near, even within the 2 weeks as well, employer in this market is continuing the job hunt, as the candidate can drop a late notice for not joining them, because the candidates are also having counter offers and they have multiple offers by the time they join. So, as a backup, they are hitting the job market even at that particular last minute. So, what's happening in that last minute is in this particular market, when where they can hire immediately, it means that person really doesn't have a job right now. Only that is then a person who is really available right away in the market. So, this is where it gets even messy, as the people who are really in the need of a job are in the market available right away to join, and they hit every site and the job posting and sends hundreds of resume in a day. So they get into interview rounds level 1 and level 2 so fast that their hopes of getting jobs get so high. If earlier recruit is joining the organization, then the employer backups in some other cases more than 2 to 3 who, and the people who can join immediately, and these are the people who are actually looking for a job. These are the people who are actually in need of a job in order to pay their basic rent, food, and employers are actually end up ghosting them if their prior recruit is joining on time. So that's where I say entire job market is catchy currently, but at the same time it's too messy because yeah, it's fine with a candidate who's having 3 to 4 offers, or the way employer in order to deal with those counter offers because the tide has turned against them, they have created this dirty game where they are posting ads for which the positions don't even exist, and they are also interviewing n number of candidates just to make sure that they don't lose. So even the person is joining in a week, they are having at least 2 to 3 ready in the pipeline. If that person dropped, another person joined. If that second person dropped, then another third person is in a backup to be available. So when the first person is joining, basically 2 to 3 persons are getting ghosted. So it's a high time, especially for an employers, to change their hiring process. The tide has been on their side since very long, and it is now time to change. Else, it will be a fireplace for both employee and employer. For some, it will be a bonfire, as they will be making uh, greater pay. But while for others, it's in the wildfires where people would be get burnt away. Yeah. My only advice for the people who are actually having 3 to 4 offers, don't just look into the pay perspective. Look into what is the job culture. How was your entire interview process with it? How is your ongoing project manager is? How the current team work culture is? How exactly how much flexibility they have in remote option or hybrid and all that is what is their career progression after 1 year completion with your with your new employer, all that. So without knowing these details, if you simply look into the number, you will be in a first person to get to cut out of in a team whenever the budget is getting reevaluated. Okay. So yeah, so nothing much. Even I knew even when I started my career in India, I had 2 months of notice period in 2007. But so nothing much changed. But it's just that spent some time in filling some positions, especially into my team, where we are hiring few resources in India, and that's where uh, these things came to notice too much into my limelight, and I just thought to share with you guys. So moving on to third topic, would you quit your job rather coming to office? Yes, we are talking about return to work. In a great reshuffling and a great resignation times, I have seen specifically in my circle, parents are the ones who are taking this step much faster than anyone. In last 1 month, I know more than 3 parents who have resigned their job for a full remote option. Since COVID 19 started, much of the jobs which allowed to work remote have been working remote since March 2020. You may call it stress times or drama. These times will be recalled after a decade how we recall September 11 US attacks and India November 26 attacks. For some, watching day to day news or going to work knowing still COVID wave is there is really a stressful time we live in. Once vaccinated, we thought we will be back to normal, but seeing the resistance against the vaccine for more than 48% adults in US and COVID still remapping itself to generate even more and more variants, normal is nowhere near. One day the news is about no mask and just within a week the masks are back on. Offices are discussing about coming back to work fully or in a hybrid model once vaccinated. Few are declaring a remote work forever. The big tech companies who are always in their news, who are declaring over the news about pushing their back to work plans. Beyond end of this year, or some of them are actually pushing mid of 2022. On contrast, the one who are not in news are silently pushing hybrid work model or requesting fully back to work. In US, prior to Delta variant, COVID cases were on 7-day average were in 2000. But over the summer, the Delta variant has changed the wave and the 7-day average are pushed to near to 145K cases per day. Employees have discussed with their HR teams and even in office town hall meetings, those monthly and the quarterly meetings so far. And based on their zip code, total number of cases, they are asking them to have some flexibility or give a full remote option. Companies are just going with industry era factory model, ignoring all the remote work skills learned past year to trash. Yeah, I know at least many employers around my current location who are making all of their employees fully 100% to be in office. So many employees are leaving jobs if they are unhappy with how their company is communicating with them. Employers who have shared monthly update during all of 2020 now have stopped giving any updates after vaccination. All they are doing now is one cold email and asking many to fully back to office, ignoring their zip code, specific cases, and employees' request in town hall meeting has been overlooked. As pandemic continues in many parts of world, full full remote work is here to stay. And organizations who have realized benefit of remote culture will continue to shine in pretty long term. At the same time, it is important that leaders address the burnout and the frustration while resetting their practices for the long term. It is important for every organization to reflect on past year experiment and with new work culture. So instead of following age-old factory model, it is must for an employer to be a transparent with its employees and have a two-way communication. Your employees won't be having all answers or you yourself. All employee want is a two-way dialogue which helps in building a trust between employee and employer. Coworkers who choose not to be vaccinated or wear a mask at work. Your zip code having a high number of cases or at home kids below age of 12 who are still waiting to their vaccine shot. It is a lot for a person right now. This uncertainty is not going to get resolved in any time near future. So don't be an employer who just investigate future risk strategy plans to retain employees and what is your business continuation plan when other employee leaves or even falls sick of COVID or any other disease. Understand what drives and motivate your employees and implement start implementing the professional development and the coaching programs that will help them in much of a greater need. So some people are choosing to quit if they don't like the terms of their return to work. But it's not that easy for others. Let me know in comments below how your organization is responding to return to work. So that is all for this week. See you again. Do let me know in comments or reply me or an email to share what's your view on this particular post. So share, like, subscribe, whatever these days kid says. And thanks for listening to our show, Minimalist Techie. Please please subscribe to our show on Apple Podcast or Spotify, wherever you listen to, or subscribe to on our website to get this directly onto your email. So stay connected, share ideas, and spread happiness. Thank you. See you again. Bye.